Hey guys, we're gonna be live here.
Okay, is the iPhone on?
I can type to them and ask if they can tell me if they can hear us.
I'm not getting any. So we can get some level. Try and get the mics as close to you as you can.
Sure thing.
Not a problem.
This is
You got it.
Resident Gryffindor right here, Mike.
Slytherin, Green Mike, the best house.
Lies.
False.
I'm the best house. That was really loud. Sorry.
Hufflepuff, Yellow Mike. Level's looking good.
Says nothing about being the best.
Because I don't have to.
Ooh.
Such shade.
That was a good one.
Good thing you got your sunglasses on because that was some shade.
Oh, okay. Alrighty then.
Okay, continuing to talk.
Testing.
Testing.
Hey. My name is Megan.
That's
We are Swish and Flick Podcast.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm a Swish podcast.
Don't talk
Your name is Sarah.
And I'm so cool.
Is Florence going to make an appearance?
You never know. You never know if she's going to come out.
Alright, I hope she does.
It's so weird not looking you guys in the face.
It is.
It's a little
Do you want me to just talk like
I
this?
mean,
I'm
I
able
have
to
to
see you.
We usually just talk to each other because we sit at like a round
Yeah.
table together, so this is pretty different.
It's really more of an oval or like an oblong table for being shape specific.
Like an egg.
we like to see
well,
each
no,
other.
because an egg is like bigger at the bottom than at the top.
Depends on the egg.
I guess it's true.
I wish I had purple sunglasses.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the team from the Swish and Flick podcast. Starting from the blue microphone, read down your names, and then talk a little bit about the topic we're going to be discussing today.
Okay.
Can do.
So we don't go in this order, so I like being first for once. So I'm Sarah, I'm the resident Ravenclaw and the best host.
I agree.
I'm Katie. I'm the tough puff.
I'm Megan. I'm the Slytherin.
I'm Tiffany, and I am your Gryffindor.
And now, who would be the leader of this group?
You're looking at them, all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I pointed at Tiffany. She like reins us in.
She's the
Well, I'm
mama of the
flattered.
group.
Okay.
All of us take our own share.
Yeah.
And what will be the topic that you are discussing today?
Oh. Well, the topic of today was an idea that I had, a little bit of a moment I had while I was reading and doing my notes for the pod.
Well,
Is
do tell.
Harry Potter a seer? Not a seeker, friends, but a seer.
And would you tell us what a seer is?
So a seer is someone who can see into the future, see events that are going to happen. A lot of the time, seers have their prophecies, and they go into the Department of Mysteries to become a prophecy, and they go on the shelf in that lovely little sphere. So we're just wondering, is Harry Potter a seer, not only of future events, but of things that are happening right now?
All right. Well, if that's all, I'm going to turn the floor over to you and start whenever.
Awesome.
Are we recording? I'm just asking.
Are we
Yes.
good?
Okay, we
We
Wait,
are
before we
good.
start, can I say what I wanted to say?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure, go right ahead.
Live from Kent, it's Saturday day.
So this is our first live podcast, isn't it?
Well,
Second?
like a legitimate podcast,
live,
yes.
live.
Oh,
A
okay.
real one.
With all
Right.
four of us also, yes.
But now Tiffany's gonna legitimately start the
Yeah.
episode like she usually does.
So
And this
you
is what
have-
happens.
You have the pleasure of being part of a regular podcast episode. This is going to go out on
Today.
tomorrow.
Podbean,
Tomorrow.
iTunes,
Anywhere.
Spotify. Google
So-
Play.
If it sounds like we're a little formal, it's because we are. But once the discussion gets open, it's going to get a little more relaxed that way. But
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy. So here we go. Hello and welcome to our bonus live episode of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany,
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And they call me Sarah.
and today we will be discussing a theory about Harry Potter. Is Harry Potter a seer? You're a seer, Harry. Today we will have our topic of discussion, and we'll be opening it up to all of you for your input. But before we begin, we have major weekly profit news from Meg's Mouse.
We announced the other week that we are having a guest on Swish and Flick. Our first celebrity interview guest is going to be James Payton from the Harry Potter series, who actually played Frank Longbottom in Order of the Phoenix, and he also is in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as a stand-in for Dan Fogler and Colin Farrell, which is neat. So he's like been on set, and like I'm just excited to interview him. But on top of that, we also wanted to let all of you guys know who may want to subscribe to our podcast that we are going to be interviewing Chris Rankin as well. And I'm like,
So excited.
And,
So
and who
excited
is
about
Chris
it.
Rankin
So-
for
sorry.
people who don't,
Yes.
like me,
He plays-
usually don't know who
he
plays
plays
the movie?
Percy Weasley.
Percy
so,
Weasley.
So yeah, Percy's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. We're going to put all the info out on our social media today. You guys are the first ones to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's confirmed he's coming on. We're going to be doing a live video podcast for our patrons, which is going to be super fun. They can ask him questions while we're talking to him about Percy's character arc, which I have to say, we were super not fans of Percy Weasley. And then,
Yourself?
Oh, that's true.
okay, I'm just saying at first you weren't really.
I'm just saying that I kind of
Okay, but I'm just saying.
Helped.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
just saying.
all right.
Children.
So then a couple years ago, we went to the MuggleNet Live event down in Orlando, and Chris Rankin was there, and he talked about his character arc, his like character of Percy. He totally changed all
Yeah.
of our minds. We were like, oh my God, we just love him so much. He's the best character. I'm not really like the best, but you know, we're good. So, but I'm excited to like actually talk to him kind of face to face through Skype, which is going to be super fun.
Yes.
And then like let the listeners get involved in it too. So
patrons
look out
get
for that.
to view that, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be a video, like a YouTube live video for patrons, and it's going to happen in September. So be on the lookout for like details on that. But we always do a weekly profit in our episodes. So even though we're live right now, we felt that we had to share some fun info with you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Katie, we usually don't do this.
I know. Well, before I do it,
Do?
so I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got started. For anybody who doesn't know, for anybody who does know, stick around, take a nap. I don't know. But before I get into it, do we each want to do a little bit of a bio of ourselves?
Yeah.
Can do.
Okay.
Doing our actual
Would
work.
you like to
Yeah.
start with me?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Tiffany O'Malley. By day, I am a first grade teacher in Cleveland, and I have a lovely husband and a daughter who is 13 months old. She's the coolest. She is called Lady Supreme, of course. She rules the roost. I also have an awesome dog named Fozzie Bear, and he is a chocolate labradoodle. You'll often hear him on some episodes because we do the recording at my house in my basement, dubbed the Swish Lair. But podcasting started as a hobby, and then it turned into a hobby that turned into a job, but it's a job that doesn't feel like a job. So
Yeah.
podcasting, it just comes naturally to me. I've fallen in love with it like I have fallen in love with education, and I love to spread the love of Harry Potter and get a younger generation involved because there's so many lessons that we can learn from Harry Potter, and it's not just about reading, but it's about who you are as a person and who you grow to be, then lessons that are within the series that I love so much. So that's me.
Yeah. My name is Megan Petrus. I am the Slytherin host of the podcast. I am a graphic designer by day, podcaster, editor, vlogger by night. I I love to do creative things, and sometimes when you're a graphic designer, you get into a position that isn't necessarily like super duper creative, but it is a good job and it is what it is. So like, I just wanted to do something else that I could take things that I love and apply graphic design to them. So this turned into obviously like so much more than a hobby, which is amazing. But Katie and I are married, and both of us are graphic designers. We attended Kent State. Woohoo! Go Flashes. So we graduated from VCD at Kent. We do graphic design on the side as well as like our normal 9-to-5 jobs, and podcasting probably more hours than I'm at work.
It's just so fun.
It's so fun, and we do all of the design for the podcast, all of the merchandise, all like mine and Katie's like little child that we designed. So, yeah,
My turn.
yeah, go for it.
Hi, I'm Katie Beatrice. I'm the Hufflepuff host. I am a self-proclaimed cat lady, snack enthusiast,
Real puff.
a real puff, true blue, true yellow.
True yellow. I'm true blue.
Right. As Meg said, I'm also a graphic designer by day, and then by night, vlogging, podcasting, editing, like anything. I don't
We
know.
just love making content.
Yeah, I just love making
Content
stuff.
creators.
So podcasting to me has found a very close place to my heart, because my favorite line to say is, before I did this 2 years ago, I couldn't order a pizza over the phone. And now I'm in front of a microphone in front of all these people talking live, and it's crazy.
And doing amazing, might I add.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Go, Katie.
Don't make me
Go,
cry
Katie.
up here, all right? I'll
She'll
never
cry,
forget
for
any
real.
of you.
You have sunglasses on. You're good.
True.
I'll still probably cry if she
I'm the
starts
only
crying.
one without sunglasses.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's been a crazy ride, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but I'll turn it over to Sarah.
All right, so I'm Sarah. I'm actually Tiffany's sister-in-law, so the man that she's married to that she claims is so great is my brother, so it depends on the day if I actually like him. And like she said, my niece, her daughter, does rule the roost, and so does her dog, because I love him too. I will move from a couch to let him sit on it, and I'll sit on the floor. That's how much I love him. And then Megan and I went to high school together, so that's how we met. And then I met, obviously, Katie through Megan. And
Best thing that ever happened.
What?
Best thing that ever happened
sure.
to you.
And this whole thing kind of started like I wanted to do a reread, and it turned into a podcast. In the back of my head, doing a podcast because I'm a talker and I like to talk, obviously.
Whoa.
And it turned into the crazy
Really?
wild ride that it's been 2 years, and with Swish, we've been able to meet a bunch of amazing people, and I've even been able to read the books again and dive deep and remember things. And then I'm like always saying that I'm not really a Ravenclaw. And then I have like a whole Google Doc trying to make a timeline. So everyone's like, no, you are. Like, no one would do that.
She's definitely a Ravenclaw.
100%.
But I mean, it's turned into like I work full time, and then I have this full time, and then I'm going back to school. So my life is going to be very, very busy. But I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I mean, being able to hang out with us, our podcast isn't the most, cut and dry. Let's just talk about Harry Potter. We're 4 women that love to have fun and love to talk about Harry Potter. And the only difference is we put microphones in front of our faces and do this. And so then you get to hear it, and you get to be a part of our friendship, and just 4 friends hanging out. So.
We get silly sometimes, basically, is what she's saying.
And
we
when
laugh
she
a lot.
says sometimes, it's pretty much all the time. And I'm the resident joker. I also cry a lot.
And then laugh when
yes.
you cry.
Yeah. Like I like to say I'm not a crier. I am 1,000%. Yeah.
I don't know why you say that.
I think I just don't like to cry. So then I say that, and then I'll cry. We went to see Cursed Child, which I didn't think I was going to like. And I cried the entire however many hours those 2 plays are together.
It's a long play. That's a lot
Yeah.
of tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. Okay, Katie, go ahead and talk more about us.
A little bit of how we started. So, obviously, Sarah and Tiffany knew each other. We all knew each other, but we weren't as close, aside from me and Meg, because we're married. We should
I
probably
like
be
her a
close.
little bit.
But Sarah and Tiffany had come up with the idea to start a book club. Harry Potter, yes.
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry. We do that a lot. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's actually my idea, but thank you.
Sorry. So then we were like, well, we want in on it. So then we decided, finally picked a time.
I tell you that we had dinner.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes,
We had
yes.
dinner for my birthday.
With her roommate, and the poor guy had to listen to us talk about Harry Potter the entire
Shout
time.
out to him. He's over at our booth right now.
Yeah.
What up, Ruts?
Yeah,
Star.
like I don't even know if he did complain after you guys left.
No.
Yeah.
He just
I mean,
takes
it was
it.
like at least 2.5
We
hours.
literally
of talking.
talked about Voldemort for 2.5
And
hours.
yeah, Bellatrix, yep.
Didn't
Yeah.
you like text me and be like, listen, you know definitely Hallow's the best. What
Yeah.
happened with blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, we were getting dinner. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got dinner, and then we told Sarah, we're like, we want in on this.
Yeah.
So then it's all cool. We decided to pick a date. We picked a date. We sat down, like, okay, we're going to talk about Sorcerer's Stone.
Well, we were going to talk about the first two. So Sorcerer's
Right.
Stone
Oh,
and,
We're going to talk
and
about
Chambers.
the first two.
And we decided, sorry that I'm
you're
interrupting
fine.
you. This happens a lot. Sorry, Katie.
It's okay.
We decided that it was wasn't it the 20th, was it the 20th anniversary? It was at least
was
an
the-
anniversary of the first book.
Yeah.
So June 22nd was, we had this big feast. Megan and I are like the cooks of the group. So my brother made something, I believe. Did he?
He made like the turkey or chicken, didn't he?
I know, like, I already knew that we were all separate houses, so we got together and we talked about the first book. And so that's really Swish's birthday, and it's also Alana's birthday, which is me. So it's like perfect. But go on, sorry.
So we were supposed to discuss book 1 and 2. After 2.5 hours, we weren't even through book 1.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're like, Sarah was like, I don't know where this came from. Why don't we start a podcast? And we're
Yeah.
like, what? And especially me, I'm like, oh God, anxious. I can't do that. I don't think so. But then we talked
She
about
sort
it
of
more.
had a mini like anxiety attack. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Talking to a microphone?
Shout out to Ezra, who's Tiffany's friend.
Yes.
Now all of our friends. He helped us set up. And then like within,
It was like
well,
within 2
it was
weeks.
so quick.
It was
So-
super fast.
We
It was
bought all the
actually-
equipment and split it up.
We bought all the equipment, because he had podcasts or he still has podcasts. And so,
He told us what to buy.
yes.
Yep.
But at the Kent, that year it was called Potterfest. So now it's the Wizardly World. So they've had a booth, I believe, every year, right?
Every
Yep.
year, yeah.
Yep.
So we came up, Tiffany's friends came up, and then the next day we recorded our first two
And-
episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and at that first, or it was actually the second Potterfest, so whenever it was Potterfest, we put a Swish and Flick flyer with
Yes.
every single poster order that we sold that year. So if any of you guys were there, you probably got a Swish and Flick flyer with your poster, which was awesome. We were just trying to promote the heck out of it. And yeah, that whole weekend we just like sat down and recorded, and Ezra helped us edit it and get
Shout
it out,
out
push
to
it out.
E. Kirk 2006. He's over at our booth. We
Yeah.
love you, Ezra. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can hear me.
And if you're a listener, you've heard him on several episodes.
Correct.
Tiffany had
He
like a
filled
little
in.
maternity leave.
filled in
He
for
filled
Tiff.
in for Tiffany. So
He's the real MVP here.
yeah.
But what all of us have been saying is like this isn't just a hobby anymore. It's honestly like it's a huge part of our life. We've gotten to travel.
Yes.
We've gone to New York. We've gone to
Florida.
Florida. Yeah, I mean we've met so many listeners.
We had meetups
It's
in
insane.
London and Edinburgh when
Yes.
Katie and I went over there. We had this massive group of like 20 to 25 people meet us in London at this pub, and we were just like, what is going on? Why do these people want to hang out with us? But it was so fun, and
I mean, we've met some of our greatest friends through the
Yeah.
podcast, and a lot of them are
it's
here today.
changed. It's
Yeah.
changed our lives.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
I see so many swishers
Yeah.
out here today, and no, try not to get emotional.
If you
but
start crying,
it-
I legit will.
no,
I will
it
start crying.
means more than I can express
Yeah.
with words. That you would take time out to travel to see us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I love you.
it blows our mind.
Yeah.
We can't say how much we appreciate it.
Another thing we do on the podcast is on every chapter episode, because like once we're done with the book, we do a movie reread, and we do a difference between the books and the movies. And sometimes we just have bonus episodes if like we've recorded something we don't have time to get together since there's 4 of us and we get very busy.
Or like
But we-
Fantastic Beasts.
Yes, we very
Yeah.
much try to have one out every a chapter episode
We
out
have
every
had
weekend.
an episode out
We've had-
every week.
We have.
For almost 2 years right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do Potter stories. So on our very first episode, we each talked about how we started reading it and how it's changed our lives. And really, the reason we're all friends is because of Harry Potter. Because when Tiffany started dating my brother, first of all, she thought I hated her. But that's how we got really close.
She gave me a very interesting look
I
when I
gave her
walked
an
into their
Alana
home.
stare.
Just dead in the eyes.
But that's how we all got really close. So like we've gotten to like people send us Potter stories all of the time, and we read them, and a lot of times like they're so emotional that like we've changed their lives, but it's so crazy because like they've changed our lives
Correct.
just by doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we dive on in?
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about like the theory at all, or do you want me to really go over again what a
Maybe,
seer
like,
is?
an-
Go over what a seer is.
All right,
just
so-
a little clearer than what I did.
So what we do in our when we break down a chapter, we do like our little thing we had. So Tiffany reads that first thing. We go into a weekly prophet. Katie does a recap. I do a summary of like what the chapter is going to be, and then we break it down into like quarters. So there's Tiffany goes first. We do it how we're sitting. So Tiffany, Megan, Katie, and myself. And I don't know where I was going with that. I just lost my whole train of thought.
When we
and-
break down the chapters,
Yeah.
we'll like try and pull things that
Yes.
we may, that we, that maybe we didn't notice the
Yes.
last, I don't know, 20 times I read
Yeah.
Sorcerer's Stone because
It's
I read it
amazing.
20 times or
we
something
search
crazy.
the internet. So with what J.K. Rowling does is she's done exhibits like where she's pulled things from actual history or
Right.
things that other things. So that we try to like scour things, and there's some stuff like the one time we were talking about boars. I pulled from my own family crest. They have boars on it, so like just things like that. I try to make it more interesting because obviously 90% of the people that have listened to our podcast know what happens in the books. So
So we try and pull like, things that are
stuff.
maybe obscure that,
Yeah.
people may not have noticed.
and we pull things from Pottermore.
come up with theories of our own and
And
which
this is one of them.
a huge theory that Tiffany like drilled into our brains until we believed her.
And with our theory episodes, we do bonus episodes called Felix Files, and those are the ones where we do theories and we break it down. And a lot of times we'll have a guest on there to kind of get their opinion. So we'll break it down and we'll talk about different aspects, and we really try to like research it as much as possible, but also bring our own opinions into it.
Okay.
So that whole spiel's over. So what we're going to do today is just give you kind of a snippet of what we do. So we're not going to go crazy in depth with it. And we also want to hear what you guys have to say. So please tell us, because we love hearing other people's perspectives, because a lot of times, sometimes we disagree completely, and then there's sometimes that we all agree. So we like hearing other people's perspectives.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about it.
So I'm going to tell you what a seer is, according to the internet. Yay, internet. So a seer is a gifted wizard or witch who has the ability to see into the future with their inner eye. Seers predict prophecies, which are then recorded. Oh, you already read this, didn't you?
I didn't read it. I summarized it a bit.
So they are stored in the Hall of Prophecy in the Ministry of Magic's Department of Mysteries. According to Minerva McGonagall, true seers are extremely rare, and she had doubt that Sybil Trelawney can be considered one, despite her sporadically accurate predictions, which she had at least, 2 to 3? Like, she had a couple that was right, but
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
She's a seer.
a little bit.
She's
a
just
seer.
quirky.
I don't think, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I don't think Harry's a true seer, like 100%.
Fighting words.
That's all right.
Tiffany is gonna bite your head off.
That's
Good thing
okay.
she's over there.
allowed. I'll bite back.
Gryffindor.
Albus Dumbledore once told Harry that seeing into the future is incredibly difficult because the complexity of every single action and their consequences. And then we go into like that centaurs are seers with their own brand of divination, which differs from humans. So we know from the books that they like talk about the stars and all of that stuff, and that's how they kind of get their future seeing stuff. So.
That was good.
And then there's some things that that we can pull, like the lexicon. There's a couple like Harry Potter articles, but I can't pull them up because I don't have internet access. So,
Totally fine.
but we don't. I mean, we're just kind of grazing the surface,
Yeah.
scratching this itch.
So I perused the internet and I Googled the question. Like, I wondered if anybody else had thought, is Harry Potter a seer? So the information on seers that Sarah read was from the Harry Potter lexicon. And then there was a Stack Exchange article that were wondering if there is some seer blood within Harry. But first, I'm going to kind of pull from the series. That Stack Exchange article brought out different dreams that Harry had. So we're going to go over a few of them and kind of make our own predictions. Okay?
Yeah.
So the first one is, and these are in no kind of order, we just kind of pulled here. So Harry made the mistake of telling Mr. Dursley about a dream he'd had about a flying motorcycle. His uncle nearly crashed the car from yelling at him. The Dursleys hated to hear about anything, acting out of the normal. And that was from Sorcerer's Stone,
I have a question.
chapter 2.
But, like, is that him being a seer, just remembering that he rode one when he was like a year and a half?
Well, you have to wonder, did he have that dream? Because when he was a baby, he was brought to Privet Drive on the motorcycle that was flying with Hagrid.
Yeah.
So people are wondering, is that something that...
Like a seer versus just like, I remember that?
Right, because he was so
Okay.
young.
You can't
know?
remember when you're that young.
Yeah, but like people have talked about because that was a very traumatic day for him.
He remembers the green light and his
Yeah.
mom screaming to bring it down
Like
a
think
little
like
bit.
he's older than Alana is. You know what I mean? So think of how, not to brag, she really is smart, which I know sounds crazy, but think about it that way. He was like a year and a half old.
Okay.
I'm sure there's again a very traumatic day for him.
Yes, it
so
was.
he would probably have memories of riding on that hog.
I don't know. Riding on that hog. I don't know. It's just an example. We're throwing this
Yes,
out to you.
you're
I'll
right.
tell you the one that really pulled me in, though. So there's that one. There's also in Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone. When he was younger, Harry dreamed and dreamed of an unknown relation coming to take him away. Although at the time he had no idea that this dream would come true beyond his wildest imaginings on his 11th birthday. That in the article, I was like, it's just a small detail that I didn't really remember, even though I really just read it, but, And
Wait, he actually said on his 11th birthday he thought that would happen?
no,
Oh,
that
oh.
came true on his 11th birthday.
Got it.
It's
I was
something
like,
that he had always
really?
wanted to happen. Did that mean that he was seeing that in his dream? When you see things in your dreams and then you maybe
was-
see them in real life.
he was
Maybe he was-
willing it into reality.
Yeah, maybe he was just hoping because he didn't want to live there, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, that could be it. But
It's just kind of weird because in a weird way, Hagrid is a relation. I mean, not
Yeah.
really, but he's such a father figure
Yeah,
to Harry
right.
that he can be viewed
yeah.
as a relation
I agree.
in a way.
I don't disagree,
Maybe.
but I also don't agree.
Are you Switzerland?
And that's fine.
Yeah, and Katie's always quiet.
What say you, Katie?
I'm absorbing.
What did she say?
I'm
She's
absorbing.
She's
That is
SpongeBob
not
right
an
now.
answer.
She's
I
absorbing.
need some more proof because those do
these
seem like
two-
straight
so-
up
Okay,
I don't
possible
care
memories.
about
Wait
these
for
two.
it. It's coming.
Oh, I know. I'm on board with this with you.
Oh, I
Don't
know
worry.
you are.
It took a long time for me to get on board with it because when you started with these, I was like, is
yeah.
he...
You can write them off kind of
What
quickly.
was that again?
You can. The thing is you can say that, okay, well, that happened because of this and that happened because of this. But this next one that I'm going to read is something that I can't wrap my mind around any other way.
Are you talking about Frankie Baby?
I'm talking about Frankie Baby.
Impress me,
And not the old blue eyes with the chairman of the board.
But sips for sadness for Frank.
Frank Bryce.
Christ.
Sips or sadness.
Pour it out.
What are you doing?
Here we go. Did you actually? Oh.
Yes.
Yes, pour one out. I'm not gonna pour this
Thank
out
you,
though
Tree
because it's really
City
hot.
Coffee.
Yes. Their coffee's very good.
Poor Frank.
Sponsor us.
Honestly.
Poor Frank.
He did nothing wrong.
He didn't. An unsuspecting victim.
Okay, so if you're not remembering who Frank Bryce is, that's quite all right. We're here to tell you. So Frank Bryce is the Muggle in Goblet of Fire. If you remember the way that book starts out, it doesn't start out with Harry at Privet Drive like we were used to within the series. It starts out in Little Hangleton. Yes.
Did anybody else skip that chapter when they would reread Goblet of Fire?
Who skipped that? Serious?
Because I did
Anybody
every time.
over here?
my
No.
gosh.
These
Yes.
people are saying no.
Oh, I just couldn't.
I wouldn't.
couldn't.
I
Wait,
wouldn't
don't know.
skip it, but I couldn't ever get through it again. That's why my rereads went through to 4, chapter 1, and then I haven't read the other ones in forever. So this is like the first time all over again. for
Yes.
me.
It was
Here.
like
Yeah.
the Riddle House, next chapter. Okay, Harry wakes up. Here we go.
So many good
So
beats in that.
important.
It is
It's
so,
so
important.
I mean, I get that, but as a 13-year-old, I didn't care.
Whatever.
Well, our lovely Harry Potter recaps what he has seen, and it was a dream. So this is a dream. Take yourself there. Here we go. And this is directly from the book. Harry tried to recall what he had been dreaming about before he had awoken. It seemed so real. There had been two people. He knew one, and he didn't. He concentrated hard, frowning, trying to remember. The dim picture of a darkened room came to him. There had been a snake on a hearth rug, a small man called Peter, nicknamed Wormtail,
Blech.
and a high, cold voice, the voice of Lord Voldemort. Harry felt as though an ice cube had slipped down his stomach at the very thought. He closed his eyes tightly and tried to remember what Voldemort had looked like, but it was impossible. All Harry knew was that at that moment when Voldemort's chair had swung around and he, Harry, had seen what was sitting in it, he had felt a spasm of horror which had awoken him, or had that pain been in his scar. It was like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Harry's a Horcrux. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
You
we're
just
not a
ruined
spoiler-free
the entire
podcast.
series for people.
Well,
I mean, it's fine.
Oh.
all right. When you think about this dream, and I'm going to use my hands because I'm getting real passionate here. Harry is not seeing this room or these people through the eyes of Lord Voldemort. He is not seeing this room or these people through the eyes of Nagini. He is seeing it as if he is
There.
a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I right?
So the reason why we talked about this, and this is why it convinces me more so, is because when people talk about it and him being a Horcrux, seeing like, oh, it's because of Voldemort, he'd see it through his eyes. Well, if he'd see it through his eyes, he'd see it from his point of view. Because there's
Yeah.
another, at the end of the book, there's another dream that he has in class. And it's the same thing. He sees it from a whole different
Yes.
point of view. So again, you would see it from his eyes if you were seeing it through Voldemort.
Yeah, why would he be
Yeah.
like, you know?
I think that this right here is when I was starting to get convinced of this theory. Like, oh, he's a Horcrux. That's probably why he's seeing all of these things. But then it's like, but again, like, you would think that he would see it through either, if it wasn't Voldemort's eyes, I would think it would be Nagini's eyes because Nagini is also a Horcrux. So, like, maybe
Right.
he could transfer, from, this sounds
I
weird,
know
like
what you
maybe he could,
mean.
like, transfer from, like, Horcrux to Horcrux or something. And because
Right.
Nagini's, like, a living Horcrux, like him, there could be a connection there.
Well, and we do know that in Order of the Phoenix, Voldemort knows about this connection now, and he uses that to trick
Nagini's
Harry.
not a Horcrux yet.
Huh?
Nagini is not a Horcrux yet. Doesn't he use Birth of Jordan?
No, in Goblet. When
I
Harry
know, in
sees
Goblet. I'm just saying, you wouldn't, if someone tried to say that, you would
not
be like,
Goblet,
not in Goblet.
Order. I'm sorry.
Not in Goblet.
I meant Order. Did I not say
No,
Order?
I'm just saying, with her talking about Nagini
Right.
being able to transfer.
Oh.
Yeah, but, like,
you
reading
were
it a
talking
second
about
time.
something that we had passed.
I know, but I'm just saying you wouldn't be able to say that because
This is when I just go quiet.
Anyways,
This is
like
stuff we edit.
when we're agreeing, arguing about.
what are we arguing about?
What
I
are
don't
we
know. The
arguing
same
about?
thing. We're agreeing and arguing about it. No, but I mean, in Order of the Phoenix, when Voldemort knows of this connection and he, uses that to his advantage, but it's through his eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to Deathly Hallows on Audible right now, and Harry is feeling the anger. He literally says that he can like feel it in his soul, but Harry is Voldemort when not any kind of Horcrux soul connection. This is just Harry singing.
Just Harry being Harry.
Just Harry, being a seer.
All right, so we have a.
All right, so.
We say that a lot.
I try not to say all right, so, but it just fails horribly every time. So I've just given into it. It's just a thing that we say. All right, so after Harry's first trip on the Hogwarts Express, this is a different potential like seer thing. It's not like more. This one is more like abstract, I think, as opposed to like where that is like a literal. He's a fly on the wall. This is more like. Well, you'll understand. Hold on. Okay. Let me just read it.
It's from Stack Exchange again.
So after his first trip on the Hogwarts Express, his introduction to the school and the sorting, Harry had a strange dream. He was wearing Quirrell's turban,
Interesting.
which spoke to him, telling him to transfer into Slytherin. The turban got heavier and heavier and tightened on his head. He saw Malfoy laughing at him.
I don't remember any of this, and this is so amazing.
who turned
Serious?
into Snape, whose laugh became high and cold. He awoke after a flash of green light. The connections to Voldemort here are obvious. We have a turban speaking to him, obviously, because Voldemort is on the back of Quirrell's head under that turban. So, like, Harry basically figured that out in his dream without... Obviously, he's not going to make that connection, but later on, it would be like, oh, wow, like, I dreamed that. So bizarre. The hot, cold laugh, which we know Voldemort has. The flash of green light, which would unfortunately be the memory of his parents or just Voldemort casting Avada Kedavra. And then it's interesting that Malfoy and Snape are connected to Voldemort in the dream, one transforming into the other, because we know later on both of them do become connected to Voldemort. Snape, we know, is the double agent, and then Draco ends up becoming a Death Eater, but then not really being able to follow through. And are kind of, if you think about
They're
it...
intertwined.
Okay, but you yelled at me for spoilers, and now you're saying...
Okay, listen. So, like, we know that it's interesting, like, how closely connected Draco and Snape
are.
kind of
They
are
really
with
are.
their, like, journey with Voldemort. Because Snape starts out all gung-ho Death Eater and then all of a sudden flips a switch and he's a double agent. And then Draco doesn't go as far as Snape, obviously, but he does kind of flip a switch in Deathly Hallows. What?
I just had an idea.
What?
Uh-oh. It's totally not on this topic. But, so Snape carries out what Draco was supposed to do for Voldemort,
Correct.
right? If that's what
Correct.
Voldemort's saying. Do you think that Malfoy owes Snape a life debt? Chugga, chugga, choo.
That's great for the podcast.
I think that...
I don't know. But isn't it an interesting thought?
Yeah,
If you could hear me.
I mean,
I don't know what you said.
Well,
I
'cause-
literally
Oh,
couldn't hear
you don't? I said,
does Malfoy owe Snape a life debt?
Because-
But
Snape
does it matter
saved
'cause he's-
his life
I was
by doing
gonna-
that, because you know Voldemort would have just nixed him if he couldn't go through it. He's just
also-
gonna...
Snape was saving his own life because he did the unbreakable vow.
Well, true.
Which you know is unbreakable.
Is it?
You can't break an
It is?
unbreakable vow.
Yeah, I
It
worked
is.
that out for myself.
it's just an interesting thought.
It is. That's a good,
Throwing that out there. Because it
that's a
just
good-
popped into my
It's a good
head.
thing to think.
Because I just think of like Wormtail and the Silver Hand, like does he owe him?
Yeah.
You know, all that
But
jazz.
Snape doesn't make it.
What?
Snape doesn't make it, so it doesn't matter.
Make what?
Doesn't
Life.
survive the battle. Do you get what I'm saying?
So how can you
I don't know
life
So
what you're
does
debt?
it matter? Snape dies, so does it
I
matter?
know. I was joking.
Wait, he does?
Sorry, everybody.
Fucking-
Well, you can't joke with me because I think you're serious.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it
Yeah.
just. I don't think it matters if Snape passes or not, but like, it just is an interesting thought. Like, is Malfoy in Snape's debt?
You
know
can
what I mean?
still do something to like
Yeah.
get rid of that debt even when they're
Yeah,
gone. I mean,
that's true.
I can't come up with an example right now.
It's
but,
just
like,
a thought.
you know.
Hey,
Sorry
like
to
Snape and
throw
Lily.
you off.
What?
Snape kind of owed a debt to Lily
Oh,
and
yeah.
protected her son.
Yeah, kind of.
Let's go back to the
Move on.
topic.
Let's talk about seeing Harry as a seer.
So another cool like dream connection with Malfoy is in Goblet of Fire. Harry foreshadows he has a dream in divination class where an eagle owl flies into a chair and Voldemort is revealed there.
This
And
isn't-
we know that the Malfoy family has an eagle owl. And then
Megan,
we
we just said it wasn't his eagle owl. It was Moody / Crouch Jr.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But maybe
But Malfoy does have an eagle owl. That's
Malfoy
true.
does have an eagle owl.
But
yeah,
yes.
that eagle owl in Goblet of Fire was Crouch messaging about the
Yes, saying
success.
that his father is no longer with the living either.
Correct.
Yes.
She's a Debbie.
I'm sorry. That typically is how I am.
Oh, do I have to read things
Katie's
now?
turn.
All right. Here comes some more facts. Are you ready? All right. The night before the crucial Quidditch match with Slytherin in his third year, Harry dreamed first that he'd overslept and that his team had had to use Neville instead and had lost. Revisiting this after Harry's problems with his dreams and
Sarah's face.
My mind is being blown.
We talked about this already.
I mean, but did we?
yeah, we did.
What are you trying to read?
Someone abbreviated something and I don't know what it means.
Team Hat.
Oh, that's Prisoner of Azkaban, probably chapter 15.
No, this OP.
Or Phoenix.
I don't think it is. Whatever. Okay.
I don't know.
Revisiting this after Harry's problems with his dreams, and in particular the lost prophecy, it's interesting that Neville is a chosen substitute, and that the reason Neville had been needed was that Harry had overslept. So this is kind of pointing at the fact that Neville could have been the chosen one and not Harry.
But also, you can point out to the fact that he does, if it wasn't for Neville, and Nagini, the whole thing, it wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Neville is the chosen one.
Yeah.
maybe.
Slice.
I think he's cooler than Harry, if I'm being honest.
I love me some Neville.
He's like a true Gryffindor.
True is
you
true.
know?
Yep.
Not saying that Harry isn't a Gryffindor or anything, but yeah. So basically, that's kind of what we do when we go through theories. But we're gonna we are actually
Are you gonna drop this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's already out there on the
we
internet.
have some more news, and we have also posted, I think, just on our Twitter.
Oh,
in an
yeah, I'm not
episode.
sure, maybe.
But
I have
we're
no
going to
idea.
talk about this theory with another Potter podcast called Potterless in September. So we're really going to dive deep into it. So it's
And
not
he
going to
has
be like
more to add. He has
Yes.
another theory that
I'm excited to
Ron
do
is
it.
a seer.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
So he's going to bring info about Ron being a seer, and we're going to talk more about Harry being a seer and try and
Probably
bounce
bring
off
in
each other.
some cursed child stuff.
Yes.
Definitely the whole Harry
Yes.
is a seer thing gets, for me, it got real with Cursed Child, which I know a
Correct.
lot of people aren't fans of Cursed Child.
I'll just say this. When it first came out, it's gonna hurt you to hear this. I like to spoil things for myself. So when Deathly Hallows came out, my dad pre-ordered them because I read all the books. Like my dad and I read them kind of at the same time. And so he had pre-ordered it. I went to go pick it up with my sister and two of our friends. They had to wait in line. I got mine first. And while they were waiting in line, I read the last chapter of Deathly Hallows. I know.
She's the
I know.
literal
at
worst.
Barnes and Noble because I get really into my
does
books,
that?
to the point where I read Gone Girl on an iPad and almost threw it out the window because I couldn't skip to the end. It wasn't easy to do, so I didn't know how it was gonna end.
I think it's partially anxiety.
It
You need to
helps know.
calm your anxiety by
Yes.
knowing what the outcome is
It
before you
helps
go
me.
and find out how it gets
Yes.
there.
I'll be like, okay, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. Even though I'm like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? I know, so I can calm myself down. So I read online kind of the plotline of Cursed Child, and I was like, not my cup of tea. And then we started this, and so we started the reread, and so I ordered it online and got it and read up to this one part at the very beginning, and then never picked it up again. And I'd asked our listeners because we knew we were gonna go see it. I go, should I read the play or not? And a lot of people were like, do it. And other people were like, no, just go and fresh. So I didn't read it or anything, and I didn't remember a lot of the stuff that happened because I didn't read every single little detail. My mind was completely changed after watching it. Again,
Yeah.
I cried. I mean, it literally means nothing when I say I cried because I will cry at everything. But it
it's
was so much better watching it in
Yeah.
person.
It's unfortunate how inaccessible it is.
Yeah.
Because reading it is just not the same experience. I understand why a lot of
Yeah.
people don't necessarily enjoy it by reading it because
Yeah.
it's a script. It's not a book. You're not
a
meant to
play.
understand how everything is supposed to be said. There's no emotion involved. But whenever you are in that theater and you're watching it be acted out, in our opinion, all four of us agree on this. We are it completely changed our views on it. So
And it's
we
expensive to
use-
see plays, too.
It's expensive and it's
And we
far
were fortunate
away.
enough to be able to get them at the cheapest ticket, which was still spending a lot
we
of money.
waited a year to go.
We waited a year and a half to go. So
But I mean, honestly, if you guys have the opportunity to go,
See it.
It's really amazing live, and we pull a lot from it now because seeing it changed our minds. So seeing Harry in Cursed Child as well solidified the seer theory to me because it happens then, and a lot of people will come back at us with the whole Harry is a seer thing and be like, well, he's a Horcrux. As soon as it died within him, that didn't happen. But then I'm
Right.
but Cursed Child, it happens there, and the Horcrux is definitely dead then. So I don't know. We're
Stay tuned.
Yes. So
Yeah.
check us out. We're going to be recording with them at the end of September. So we're really going to get in as we say, deep and sweaty, talking all about this, more so than you saw today, because this is just, 3 examples, and we talk a crazy ton about it.
Right. Yeah.
Normally our episodes are like super crazy long, so now we're going to have Gilderoy Lockhart go out into the audience. If you guys have any questions, we will literally answer anything. It doesn't even have to be about Harry's seer. Well, yeah, within reason, but like
Within
it doesn't
reason.
have to be just about Harry being a seer. If you
If
want
we
to
don't know the answer, we'll make something up and make it sound really good.
Yeah, we're no experts. That's all we say. 'Cause,
I
we
can't
make
promise my
mistakes.
answer will
and
sound great.
I don't remember anything, so. But
Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody? Yeah, come on down.
Okay.
Come on
this is-
down.
is this the
You're the
prizes,
winner
right?
of asking a question.
What's your name?
There are those who call me Tim.
What's up, Tim?
Hey, Tim.
Okay. And what is your question? And it is directed at all of them or one of them?
All of them. Well, first, if I can make a comment, because I've studied Oracle, I've done Oracle workshops with Diana Paxson, the author, who does that work, been to Greece and all that. She says that when the gods want information, they will do they will go to whoever's connected in the loop. So if there's one person who has medical knowledge, and there's one person who's the linguist person, the lit major, they will make this feedback connection between them so that they can just see what they need to see, or vice versa. They use that
I like that a
so the
lot.
person
I like
can
that.
get the information they need, knowledge. Oh, yo, I'm sick. What do I need? Like, you see, this stuff comes through viscerally. So you just see this black monster in somebody's stomach that doesn't tell them anything.
That's awesome. I
Yeah,
really like
that's really
that.
cool. I like that a lot.
But as far as the question for you guys, you say if you have the opportunity. Well, yeah, I'll have the opportunity to go to New York City if I spend about $2,000.
Correct.
So
I know.
there are other things in my life I want to do, and I was in New York City in April for WrestleCon, but I thought about it, but I just couldn't fit it in.
Yeah,
It's hard.
That's another thing because it's 2
It's long.
plays.
It's
so
plays
much
in
time.
one.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing with the play is you have to change the entire theater
Yeah.
to make it work. So to make it more accessible, I would love a recording.
Of the
Yes.
play.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Broadway.com gets on that one of these days. I know they don't
Yeah.
like to do that because they
Right.
want everybody to see it first.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I just don't know how many
But-
theaters are going to change.
But here's a question for you guys, because I can
Sure.
see he's looking pissed. Obviously, going to Tokyo for New Japan Pro Wrestling, not in you guys' wheelhouse, but on the scale of life events, being I can die happy now that I did this, where would you put seeing The Cursed Child?
Oh, jeez.
I would say pretty middle to top for me, at least.
I'm gonna
up
go
there.
70%,
Yeah.
7 out of 10,
Yeah.
maybe 10 being the highest.
Seven.
I mean, if you're a huge Potter
Right.
fan, and you just like to take in all Potter content, I would put it higher. If you're a casual Potter fan, 5,
Yeah.
4. I mean,
Right.
it
it
really
won't mean
varies
as much
person to
to
person.
you.
We are
It's an
insane
Yeah.
Harry Potter fans, so it's oh, we got to do it. We got to do everything Potter. Oh, Harry's name's on it. We want it.
Yeah.
I'm not that
Especially
bad, but
to bring it back to
Home.
our listeners. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And
we really wanted to be able to talk about it and
Right. with authority,
Right.
We
Yeah.
can't just
And I'm actually once we saw, we did 3 episodes, or no, we just put it all together. But we talked before and then between the 2 parts, the 2
And
plays,
after.
and the end.
and did a whole reaction
yeah.
episode for everybody so that you could really see the growth of our opinions on it from the beginning to the middle to the end.
And if you want me to cry, I cried a lot talking about it.
a million times.
But I'm so excited to get there to talk about it more
Yeah.
and break down everything. So
Yeah, because we'll definitely get to Cursed Child after the
Yes.
last book. We'll do kind of this with that.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Any
Who's
other
next?
questions?
There's a guy over there.
Anyone?
All right.
Ask us questions all the time.
Oh man, your Patronus
what's your
is
name?
amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name's Brian.
Hey Brian.
I don't really need that.
Okay.
So this is off topic of the seer.
Sure.
This is about when Voldemort went to recruit the Dementors.
The Dementors?
Dementors.
Okay.
So it's well established that Snape was the only Death Eater that could perform the Patronus. What would Voldemort have done if the Dementors said, nah, we're coming after you?
Does Voldemort really have any...
I mean,
Like,
technically, yes, he's
I don't
got a
think that they
soul.
affect him. You know what I mean? Like, because like you think, like the Dementors with Harry, Ron, and Hermione, like they have a lot of happiness in them for the Dementors to feed off of. And Voldemort is so overly obsessed with his one goal, which is immortality. That's literally all he thinks about and all he cares about, in my opinion, at least. I don't think that he really focuses on those kinds of feelings that normal people have, because he is not normal, right? Like, I mean, you've heard the connections of the Death Eaters and Voldemort to like Hitler, right? I mean, he's just evil. And I think that the Dementors don't have anything, like he doesn't have anything like of value that they would want to feed off of, in my opinion.
What would he do? Would he be like, not today, Dementors?
Oh. I got T-Rex arms, but this one's been up. Your question makes me think of whether or not Dementors would even want to go after Voldemort's soul, being in the state that it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
true.
It's like, maybe
Do they
it's
really
like
want
you
that?
eating like a grape, you know?
Or maybe they know it'll
Like, it's not
taste
gonna
gross.
fill you.
You know, you don't want to eat something
But
gross.
like it's in
Like a
7
rotten
But
pieces.
it is so damaged. I wonder if it's, gosh, is it even detectable that much? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought, but
Why wouldn't they repel on Harry more than if they like felt his?
But maybe that's just like Harry plus a snack.
he's got
Harry's
double soul.
Harry's
right?
just so cool.
It's like Harry in seconds.
Yeah, Harry plus a grape.
What have you done?
But I feel like if Voldemort was using the Elder Wand, or I feel like it would be powerful enough if he used a different spell to at least get them away
Protect
from him,
himself.
and then to go ahead and apparate out or fly out, since he's flying in 7 now. Or what?
All right. Anyone else? All right. I'll get to her and then you. How's that? Cool.
Hi, I was just curious, with you guys talking about how much you like Cursed Child, I'm curious because I'm wondering if you still consider it canon after watching the play. Because I've seen a
Yes.
lot of theories that talk about how if you consider it canon, it kind of rewrites some of the stuff that happens in the original books.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if you still consider it canon, even though you like it in the play.
Here's my thing with canon or not canon.
With all things, not just Harry Potter.
I'm gonna say short answer is yes, all
Yes.
4 of us do, but Tiffany can explain more.
Hold on. If
I
you
hope
get
it doesn't
situated-
turn anybody off to us.
I mean, it is what it is. People are allowed to have differing opinions and
And
still
we
love
love
one
that.
another. Here
I
we
know,
go.
I know.
If a creator says that this is canon, whether or not they had a full hand in it or not,
It's canon.
then I'm going to take that as canon. It's the world they created, and I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
It is not my position to say you're wrong about the thing that you
Yeah.
helped create or create. That's my view on that.
Yeah.
But what we talked about when we talked about, because I, like you, I read it, I thought about it and said,
She argued
hard
with me all the
pass.
time.
Hated it. I really did. And if you listen to those early episodes, you're going to be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
Tiffany said she hated it, and now she loves it. Blah. True. I'm allowed to change my opinion based on new facts.
Yeah.
But what we talked about with like time turner things, and you're like, time turners don't do that. Well, technology changes, does it not?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that Megan brought up that really changed my mind, because the time turner thing really got me. And it's like, time turners don't work like that. Well, does everything always have to work the same throughout history?
Yeah.
Time has passed. People make new discoveries. People create new things all the time. And who am I to say what can and cannot happen in the wizarding world?
Do we still have dial-up internet?
That's what I'm
sure
saying.
someone somewhere
It's
does.
just things
Well,
like
sure.
that change. So,
But, it's
Yes.
like technology. That's how I
Yeah.
tried to explain it to them. All of the
Yeah.
time turners got destroyed in the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, I think.
Yep.
Yes,
So all of them got destroyed then, but that does not mean that nobody could ever create one again, in my opinion.
Yes.
So,
but
Yeah.
and why not improve upon it?
my wish for listeners is that try again
Yeah.
with a new perspective. If you still don't like it, you don't have to like it, right?
Well, and another thing with this podcast, talking about changing our opinions.
you.
We'll have an opinion on something at the beginning, like Snape in particular, who none of us liked, and then we have a very dear friend who convinced us that he's not the worst human in the entire world.
This
So-
person here.
Yeah.
Shout out to us.
All
So
right.
when you learn about it, you
Question.
change your
Yes.
views, you know?
All right.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
I just want to say one of my favorite characters in Harry Potter is Molly Weasley.
Your favorite character?
Yeah.
I love her.
Yes.
Because I used to know someone like that. That I was a friend of with, and his mom, really kind of considered me as an adopted son for a short period of time before she passed away. Yeah. And question, I would like to see The Cursed Child made into a film.
Yeah.
A film?
Yes.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be amazing
Yes.
and accessible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the other one. Have you been to the place in Florida,
The Wizarding World.
The Wizarding World?
Wizarding World in Florida?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I went there with my wife in 2015, so we had a great time.
It is fantastic.
Yes,
beautiful.
yes. And where can I go to see The Cursed Child play?
Where?
Yes.
It's still in New York City on Broadway.
And London, which is super
In
far away.
London.
And San
It
Francisco.
just opened in San Francisco,
Yes.
and next year, or no, maybe this fall. It's either this fall or early next year. It's opening in Toronto. So
So is there anywhere in, other than Toronto, is there anywhere in Ohio I could see it?
Unfortunately
No.
not.
I wish.
see, that's why it's just not that accessible to everybody, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
Toronto would be the closest, I think, once it
Yeah.
starts there.
Is it on YouTube?
No.
No.
Oh no, they check
They
it
keep it
big
under
time.
wraps.
Okay.
But
Well,
you can get it in a script. Like you can read the script.
I have the
there.
book. I have the book
Yeah.
at home. I just haven't read it.
Quite
Yeah,
different though.
it's quite different. You just can't get emotions. You know, it's difficult to read a script
true.
Sure,
if you're not a
sure,
theater person.
sure. All right. That does. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I will say while you're walking over there.
What's up?
So Cursed Child, another thing that we love so much about it. That I'm not going to give anything away. # keep the secrets. But when you go and see it, even like a film is a great idea, but there's something that happens there
That's
that
true.
literally punches you in the chest.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Right.
feel it
Yeah.
when you're there. And like, I don't know how you would recreate that any other way.
Get a really good sound system.
Right.
Yes, subwoofers.
Here we go.
My name is Lena, and my question is for all of you, and it is, what is your guys' favorite thing about Universal?
About Universal?
Can I talk for like an hour about it?
Don't let her do that. She'll do that because she used to like basically live there. Do you want to go in order?
Sure.
My favorite thing about the Wizarding World in Universal is when you walk into Diagon Alley, you are in Diagon Alley. And it is truly magical. I walked through and started crying because you literally feel like you are there, you're in it, and it's at Christmas time. It's like warm fuzzy and you're
Yeah.
home. Truly your home.
Yeah.
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 Top that.
Meg's like, how many? I can't think. One
You
thing.
have to literally
one
pick
thing.
one thing and keep it to like 30 seconds.
I got mine.
We're timing you. Ready? And
Go.
I have two things.
Oh my God.
I always do this. I'm sorry. So the first thing is definitely the Forbidden Journey ride. I think that Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is the ride inside Hogwarts Castle, is literally the coolest and best theme park attraction ever, period. I absolutely love Disney, but nothing there tops Forbidden Journey, in my opinion.
But you
And
haven't
anybody
ridden
who
Hagrid
listens to
yet.
the podcasts,
You don't know?
what about Hagrid's?
You haven't ridden it yet.
Forbidden Journey. I haven't ridden. We're doing that in 2 weeks. But at this moment in time, Forbidden Journey is the best attraction in any theme park, period, in my opinion. And anybody who listens to the podcast knows how much of a Disney fanatic I am. Love the parks, love everything there. But like Forbidden Journey, the bomb. thebomb.com. And then second thing, really quick, maybe, is so whenever you're over in Hogsmeade, which is the section that has Hogwarts Castle, it's beautiful, and it was the first thing that they built. But whenever you're in there, if you like turn around and look, you can like see the Hulk roller coaster, and you can see the Jurassic World area, and you can see Seuss Landing. So like there are moments where you could kind of come out of it and you're like, oh, I'm in a theme park. But like Tiffany said, when you're over in Diagon Alley, you literally go through the brick wall into Diagon Alley. And when you are in it, you see nothing else but Diagon Alley. And it is the realest thing I have ever like experienced. It feels like you are really there. Like it just completely transports you over to the UK and you are in London behind the Leaky Cauldron, like so legitimate. It's amazing. And
the Dragon Fire is super, super hot. So if you can imagine like Florida heat and then Dragon Fire, yeah.
And then the magic, you can like do
Swish and flick. You
could do
that.
magic, and it's amazing. And I'm gonna let somebody else talk because I could just say more
all right,
things.
Go. Okay.
Hey, Universal, sponsor us because we love you.
Sponsor us, please.
So as a graphic designer, I really like all the graphics that are all over Diagon Alley. Mina Lima did all the graphics from movie 1 all the way on. And I mean,
And Fantastic Beasts.
Yes, they're just plastered everywhere, and they're so well done. And then 2, obviously the food, butterbeer, all the snacks, all the ice cream.
Don't forget the
all
mutton.
Pumpkin pasty.
What's that?
Don't
pumpkin
forget the
juice.
mutton.
Oh yeah. I've tried that once. It's okay.
My turn?
Yeah.
Your
so
turn.
I, too, I'm going to say 2 things.
You have to, why did you yell at me?
Well, I'm going to talk about magic. You talked about 3 things. So magic, the magic there is so cool that you can like go around and do like different things with, if you have an interactive wand. And my second thing, like Katie says, the food. So I've been to Ireland a couple of times, and like they're like a full Irish is what I call it. It's a full English over there, I think, at the parks. But
The breakfast,
it's
you mean?
so good. They have the best sausage. They have black and white pudding, which like nobody here will eat but me. But like it brings me back to like being in Ireland and being home. So like that's something that I love, and so I get it every time I go. I love me some black and
their
white
food
pudding.
is really
It's so
good.
All right. Does that answer it? All right. Thank you.
Long story short, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. That was louder than I expected.
It's pretty loud.
Okay. Yeah, I can. So my question is, do you think that Dumbledore is a seer? Because back in the first book, he stalled when they used the time turning to save Buckbeak. So do you think he knew because he didn't know before? Time is confusing. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's a good question.
I
That's a
would
very
say
good question.
That he just kind of gave them like a wink to be like, you know, you can not only save Sirius, but you can also save Buckbeak.
I think
so kind of was like,
yeah, Dumbledore is a man of
he knows a lot.
calculated calculations, if you will.
Yes.
And I feel like he knows that certain things can happen in a certain amount of time, and I think he has a lot of trust in Hermione.
Mm-hmm. And Harry. I'd say the
well,
trio.
and Harry to getting these things done.
I think Dumbledore's just very aware of everything
Yes,
at all
correct.
times.
Yes.
So
He's like my
I
mother.
So I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come out and say I don't think that Dumbledore is a seer. I just think that he is.
He knows way more than we would ever think
Yes.
to know.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
he takes
And-
in every situation, everything.
And he is so calculated and precise with like everything that he knows what the outcome could be. So he wants them to get that outcome. So he kind of pushes it on
He's the kind
them.
of guy that thinks backwards. So you get
Definitely.
the outcome that you want, and you figure out how to get there.
I think a good way to like say how he is, if you've ever seen the show Psych, how the guy like pretends to be a psychic, but is just very, very observant. That's how he
she's into
is.
it.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
All right. There we go.
All right, so my name is Julia, and I'm going to start Kent in the fall.
Woo!
Oh,
congratulations!
Awesome. And I was scrolling through Reddit recently, and someone pointed out that they were wondering why Harry took so long to open the present from Sirius, the two-way mirror, because they were still talking through the fireplace, and it would have been so much easier to just use the mirror, and it would have prevented the whole fiasco at the Ministry of Magic. So I was questioning what your guys' theory was of why he waited so long and why Sirius didn't tell him, just open your gift.
Good question.
I think that has a lot to do with the personality of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And maybe just thinking like that's how she wanted it to go. Like that's what my dad would be like. That's why it's written in the script that way. You know,
Wouldn't be a story.
We've been talking a lot about fate on the pod, though, and things happen for certain reasons, and it's kind of like a give and a take. And we know that that two-way mirror is used to great effect later in 7. But I don't know. I kind of feel like it's just like on both their parts, it's a stupid mistake.
Maybe Sirius is like thinking because he grew up in a house where magic was always a thing, and Harry was very much grew up in a house where like you didn't.
Wasn't
that was like
allowed.
that was like a swear word. Like you couldn't say magic.
That was a swear.
Yeah. So maybe he assumed wrongly that like Harry would know that it had magical properties. You know, so he didn't say anything. And then Harry was like, all right, he gave me a mirror. Cool. Does he want me to check out my hair? Like, I can see my scar. You know what I
Wants
mean?
to make sure I look like James.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Like maybe they just didn't, neither one of them thought to ask the other person, like, you just got me a mirror. Thank you. You know?
I feel like this is kind of one of those questions where, like, unfortunately, the answer just is that is what Joe wanted to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And like, I hate going to that answer because like I want a legitimate answer for absolutely everything. Like there are a handful of things that happen in the series where like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why does that happen that way? But like in reality, the answer is, well, it wouldn't have panned out the way that it should have if Joe didn't make it happen that way. So that's why it happened that way.
With plot holes and everything, she is a human, and we all make mistakes. So she's
like
even
Goblet
said,
of Fire,
she'll
there
be
were
like,
a ton of dates wrong and stuff. And she,
I'm
she came
I'm
out
like
and said
a freak
that.
about that. I will go back on my calendar and find the date. And I'm like, it's very interesting to me that she had, like, in the middle of the week, she's saying it was a Saturday, but it was a Wednesday in real-time life. Like, but again, she's human. She even says, she's like, I don't know. She goes,
Ravenclaw.
dates throw me off. And, you know, there's some things that she just forgot, which, again, she's human. That's fine. We'll
She
just have to
always
live
has
with
an
it.
answer, though, when you ask her, doesn't she?
Yeah.
This is usually when we say, Dear Joe.
Yeah.
Dear Joe, why'd you do
Dear
this?
Joe.
Are we ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, here we go.
My name is Rachel, and I wanted to ask our Ravenclaw representative your opinion on how they changed the colors of the merchandise.
Dude, you're going to go all day. Go for it.
I mean, it's like a bittersweet thing because I don't buy any merch because it's not the right colors. I don't know if they've ever really said why they did it. So in the movies, it's blue and silver. And then, so all official merchandise is blue and silver. And then our, I wouldn't call it a mascot. What would you call it?
Emblem?
In a raven in a star. Yeah, the
Right.
representative.
It's because it's
But, like,
easy and it's called
yeah, but
Ravenclaw,
so-
so people just said Raven and
So in the books, it's blue and bronze, and it's an eagle because you know we fly like an eagle. Yeah, I've been waiting to say that. But it's so aggravating that like all the official merchandise is the wrong color, so I won't buy it. So it saves me money. But like, what's great is my sister knits, and so does Megan's mom. So like, I have a scarf that has the actual colors because they found bronze to go with blue. Her mom made me a blanket with the correct colors. So like, when I see something that's the right colors, I'm like, yes, woohoo! But I go on a whole gripe on one episode that I was like so mad about it.
It was a lot.
that's like a soapbox for Sarah.
Seriously.
So aggravating.
But we see your scarf, and you're
Yeah.
rocking that blue and bronze.
Beautiful.
All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Josie Peterson, and my question is like about finding like what house you're in, because I have like I've done some tests and stuff, and I've gotten 2, but like I just don't know.
What 2 have you gotten?
Hufflepuff and Gryffindor.
Okay.
Pick Hufflepuff.
Oh, those
No,
are
no, 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 no. Hold
those
on.
are very different, but like
Did you do it on Pottermore?
Yeah, but I've done it like more than once, just to like.
We all have.
And I've gotten both.
Okay. Where do you feel like you belong, and what values from those houses do you hold higher within yourself? Like, which do you think is more important and that you value? Do you value the bravery and the chivalry, or do you value the
Loyalty.
loyalty?
And hardworking.
Which one do you value more?
I don't know, because like they both have.
Yeah. And in that case,
In
you
which
get
case,
to pick.
the sort of thing
test
that would let
again.
you choose.
Right. So
You can choose.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
I mean, for example,
Realistically,
You
it's
should
always
be
up
a
to us because it's
Gryffindor.
what we value.
for example, I took the test the first time, and I tried to answer questions to
be a
get
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor, and it put me in Slytherin.
Because she ain't no
Because it
Gryffindor.
knew that I was lying.
Yeah.
Let's be real. It's really, if you want to go online, there's this really good quiz that if you search Pottermore all questions, and it's I think it's on like not Quora, I don't know, but if it gives you the breakdown of percentages of what house you are based on what questions you answered. So it'll tell you if you're 70% Slytherin and 50% Gryffindor. It doesn't match up to 100 because like some of the questions go towards more than one house.
Yeah.
So like you can get 70% Gryffindor and 60% Hufflepuff, but then maybe that helps you decide, oh, hey, I'm actually 10% more Gryffindor, so I'm going to choose that one or something.
Yeah,
but
it's a really good quiz.
if you Google that, it's a really, really good quiz, and it really helped. We all took it, and like then we could all see like our breakdown, like second house, and it lets you know like the order of what you are.
Yeah.
I want an update though.
Yeah, I need to know. I'm going to need to know where,
Both
where
are
you're
great
at.
houses.
Yes.
Go,
You can't
go,
wrong.
Gryffindor. I see your red shoes. You belong here.
I don't know. She looks really sweet and cute. She should be a Hufflepuff.
I'm sweet and cute.
All right,
Oh.
fair.
Come on, Bobby, what you got?
All right, here we go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Andy.
Hey.
So my question is, there's for years that isn't Warner Brothers' official book. Like mine would be the Harry Potter musical.
Yes.
Love
Well done. I
Yeah.
think I know what most of us are going to say.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
it. Me.
Puff.
Puff.
Puffs.
Yes.
Puffs.
Puffs. Puffs in the play is so
The
good.
oh my god, it's amazing.
It's so
I don't know
good.
if any of you guys have seen it.
You can
It's
get it
on
on
It's
Amazon.
off Broadway. You can see it on
Yeah.
Amazon, correct?
Amazon
Yes.
and iTunes now. They just released it on iTunes. You can buy it like as a download and watch it like
It's
a movie.
so good.
Hilarious.
So funny. Not necessarily for small children sometimes.
Correct.
Oh,
I
no,
will
the
say
one
this
no, the one
about it.
that the one that's for download is like family friendly. Is it? Oh, okay, sorry.
So Tiffany over here is a very serious person on the podcast, I would say. With like, she does not and will not watch a Harry Potter musical because she like, I don't know. I think it's hysterical.
That's probably my second
Love it.
favorite thing behind
like, it's
Puffs
very
is
good
definitely
'cause it's-
Harry Potter musical.
It's made by fans for fans.
I mean,
and
Darren
so-
Chris.
Yes. And so when I tried to get her to watch Puffs, I was like, I think you're gonna like it, and she was just like, nah. By the end of it, she's like, oh my gosh, it was so good.
It was so funny. I
We
was
quote it
I
all
was
the
just
time.
stitches sometimes. It's have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
You should.
you're gonna need to get on there.
But we quote. I would say we quote both Puffs and.
If you like a
Harry
Harry Potter musical, you're gonna really like
yes,
it.
it's really good. It's just not a musical.
Yeah.
So you don't get that part.
Puffs.
For me, I'm a puff, so I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
So-
Nothing.
You are going to laugh
So if you guys
hard.
like, if you guys want to know just like a general little basis of what Puffs is about, it's basically like a movie. Well, it's a play of Harry's years at Hogwarts from the perspective of the Hufflepuffs.
Just like a regular
What's his name?
regular puff.
Wayne.
Wayne.
Wayne is
Wayne,
the head,
Wayne, that's
is
right.
the lead guy, and
his shirts
and like
are
you see
so good.
Cedric and like how he
So
is just like a celebrity to the Puffs, and it's so
good.
cute. It's so cute.
So if you like that kind of stuff, go watch it. It's very, very.
Bueller.
Right down here.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Joshua Lyons. And my question is, out of all four of you, what is your favorite book of the Harry Potter series?
Oh, that's a really good question because
Yeah.
we actually took some pictures yesterday holding our favorite books. So I'll start since we're doing the order thing. My favorite book is Deathly Hallows. I see you.
I didn't know if you were gonna say why.
I was like, my God, what are you waiting for?
I mean, that's pretty much the whole title.
My favorite book is Half-Blood Prince. Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban. That book changed my life.
Yeah. I love Order of the Phoenix.
So wait, one person like Deathly Hallows the best? Are there any more? Thank you. I see you.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions?
Right behind you, there's one more.
Here, come here. And then I saw you, so I'll get to you.
Hi, I'm Liz.
Hi.
I was wondering if you think there's a connection between, assuming that Harry is a seer, if there's a connection between that and when he still is a Horcrux, if like those visions of Voldemort are stronger because he's a Horcrux. Because originally I was thinking maybe like while he's a Horcrux, he still has that seer ability, but you all were saying that he still might be a seer during Cursed Child.
Correct.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Because I haven't read Cursed Child or seen it. But so maybe...
okay.
Thanks.
We forgive you.
We still like you.
Oh, thanks. But maybe those visions are stronger while
would
he's
say
a
yes.
Horcrux.
I think they
I
make it
think
more
so.
frequent, especially because Voldemort is among the living.
There's a lot more
Yes.
going
Right?
on at that time, too,
Yes.
you
There's-
know?
Yeah, and I think Harry's purpose, right, his end goal is to destroy Voldemort. So I think that while Harry is going through that, like that's his perfect purpose. That's where his mind is.
Yeah, thanks
And
to
so
Dumbledore,
that's
huh?
where his visions come from. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome.
Plus, like, there's no denying that Voldemort was a powerful wizard. So if he's
Correct.
somehow inside your soul or
Yeah.
whatever, like, he
Did
might be
great
making things
things.
stronger.
Terrible.
But
great.
oh.
All right, we ready for the next one?
I'm ready, yes.
Yes.
My name is Carly. I was wondering if you think that Dumbledore is more of a hero or a villain in the story.
Carly, is it? Yes. It depends on who you ask on this stage.
Well, no, I think, maybe Megan would disagree. Here's the thing I want to say about Jo. She writes
Great
the imperfect
characters.
person perfectly.
yes.
So he's very much, he's got a past, and I want to say he
Yeah.
has a future.
Does he?
Well,
It's
I mean,
shorter
everyone
than
does
most.
to a point.
Cut
So
a little short.
I mean, I would disagree. He lived 150 years. That's like as long as a turtle and
He
Nemo.
could have lived a lot longer.
So I would say
from
that
other fandoms.
Going strong.
there's an argument that could be made for both sides, but for me,
For me?
for me, he's a hero.
Okay. Simple. Kate.
I
Here's
don't
the
think.
thing. They're married, so whatever happens
No.
here goes home.
Did you say no?
No, I don't think he's a villain. I don't know if he's a hero. I think he's a great character. I mean, he did a lot of good and he did a lot of bad. So
For the greater good.
Say you.
Yeah.
We all know which way she's going, to be honest.
She's sitting
has two
beside me, so
answers.
she has to be careful.
I don't hate Dumbledore. I just want to
That was
preface
not had
I
nothing to do
I
with the
wanna
question.
preface this. Dumbledore is very similar to Snape, in my opinion.
I would agree. Two sides of the
They
same
are
coin.
very, very deep and complex characters.
Would you say they're sweaty as well?
I thought you were gonna call them deep and sweaty, and I was like, oh.
They're deep and
Deep
sweaty.
and sweaty characters, yeah.
No, stop.
And I don't know if I'm confident enough to say that Dumbledore's a villain,
No.
but I definitely don't think he's a hero.
But he's more hero side. Like if you had a scale.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
He's more on the
Dumbledore is, in my opinion, a little bit, how do I word this? Not self-absorbed, but like,
For the greater good.
it's,
doesn't
yeah, I
trust
mean, honestly,
himself.
like the phrase for the greater good just like irks me to no end. And the fact that that is his focus, like always, in my opinion, he doesn't ever view Harry as a child.
But I
He
think that's
doesn't
also
view Harry as an 11-year-old child that deserves an 11-year-old child's life.
I
right?
think he he does it also to protect himself because of what happened with his sister.
I don't care.
What's your answer?
He's kind of a villain.
We knew it was going that way.
But he's
We're
not like
shocked.
a Voldemort villain.
No.
But he's like not a great person. He's not a good person.
Oh.
But
So, Okay, villain, hero. Sarah was over here. Katie, where were you?
I'm in the middle like I always am.
She's at my microphone.
She's Switzerland always.
Meg's more so like right here,
Always.
right? Because
Yeah.
this is a hero.
Tiffany's like over by that tree.
Listen.
Yeah, she's in Canada. That's how far she is.
She's
How
all the
much
way over in
time do you
Canada.
have?
Over Lake Erie, Toronto area, maybe even further.
Yeah.
You gonna see Chris Chandler over
Antarctica?
there?
Now listen, I wouldn't go that far. However,
Dumbledore is her favorite character.
are you ready? No, I'm just kidding. I won't go that far. We will get into his character
Yeah.
profile, however, when we get to 7. So in a few years, right?
I can't wait.
Okay.
It's gonna be like many episodes long.
We're gonna argue. Like, what are we even arguing about?
We're gonna argue about my main man, Dumbly. So I feel like wouldn't necessarily label him hero. But I
you
feel
wouldn't?
no, I wouldn't.
He's more
because
hero-ish, in my opinion.
he does heroic things, but however, it may be a ruthless way to get to the end goal. But I feel like he's a man that did what he had to do. Now, whether it was acceptable and easy road, no. But it wouldn't have been any other way. And I'm a firm believer in fate.
Yeah.
And I feel like things happened the way that they needed to get to the end. Because in the end, what did we need? We needed Voldemort to
Well, and that's
to
the
die.
thing. You can
and,
say...
and we got there. Was it
I'm such a
ugly?
talker.
Oh goodness, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just feel for Harry.
Oh my gosh.
You can feel
liar.
for Harry, but
I
you
do.
but you can also feel for my main man, Dumbly.
No.
Here's my thing.
She'll
but
change her mind later because she used to say that she,
hated Snape, and now she doesn't.
and then she said she loved him. Did she not, Jess? That's right.
Ooh,
Oh,
three
I need
times.
to clarify that
So
statement. though.
more heroic for me.
Ooh.
I love how he's written.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, he is written very
You're
I
well.
gonna
love
do
how
this
he's
to her?
written. He's a
She's
great
being
character.
Such a little slithery snake right now.
But with Dumbledore, it's like the
We're ready.
ends
Who I am.
justify the
All right,
means
you
to
ready for
means
the next
justify
Yes,
the
we're
end.
ready for
Yeah,
the
all
next
All right,
question.
I've got another
Yes.
question. You do? All right. You.
Somebody's
Oh.
got Nagini.
We've got
Oh,
10
goodness.
All of you.
minutos
10
left.
minutos. Oh, we have to end the podcast too.
Oh, we have
We
have
end it,
10
it'll take
minutes,
a
so we can
second.
probably do a few more
All right,
if
so-
we're quick.
Who is first?
Get in the line.
All right. So I need your name,
Okay.
and I need your question,
Okay.
because
I think I
we're
can
we're
do that.
running short on time.
Okay.
All right.
Make it quick. Okay. Hi. I'm Kylie.
Hi.
Hi. So you guys talked briefly about mental health, kind of how it's portrayed in the wizarding world. So I just wondered if you could kind of like expand on mental health and how like kind of marginalized people have been in the wizarding world.
It's difficult for me at least to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can get closer. So you guys have talked briefly about mental health in the wizarding world and how that's kind of people were kind of marginalized and not really talked about, that kind of thing. So I wondered if you guys wanted to expand on your thoughts about that.
Do you have any
a little
character specific that you would like to discuss?
So maybe like the Longbottoms.
Okay.
Like, or how
Okay.
like treatment is, or how characters are looked at. Trying to think specifically.
I can answer that. So, the characters, any character who is deemed mentally unstable, I should say, is sent to a mental institution called St. Mungo's. That
Gilderoy
is-
would know about this.
Oh yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. My medical personnel was here somewhere earlier. My doctor was. She left, but I
I asked that because I am a therapist, and so I'm always
Yeah.
looking for that. And I loved how you guys have talked about how the books helped you, like with in terms of mental health and
Mhm.
others, and the stories that have been shared.
Oh, are you talking about Potter stories?
Well, both.
Okay.
I mean, it's all the mental health
Right.
umbrella.
Right.
I guess.
So on our podcast, people will write to us and they'll share the series has helped them. And I think that the series does so much good. I, for one, moved away from home and went to school, and I pretty much had no one. And going into a new city and going into a new school and starting college, like I had Harry Potter, and that was my home. And that did make me feel better in times of anxiety and loneliness and sadness. So that's like my little snippet as far as mental health goes using the series.
I think that Katie probably can speak to this a lot too.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm open about it on the podcast. I have a lot of anxiety. I think it should be talked about.
Yes.
I think it's not really talked about enough in
No,
the
it's
series,
not.
to be honest. Like you can
agree.
clearly see that there are things, like the Longbottoms and Gilderoy even,
And just Neville, if you think
And-
about him, just
and-
how
yeah.
all of that has
Right.
affected him. Like people don't touch on that, but we're also seeing it from Harry's point of view.
kind of kept hush hush, which is not how it should be in the real world.
And we see how Neville acts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw on this. Sorry, Snape people. But like when he goes into potions class.
I mean, he's just completely
he performs dismally, I believe is his grade or something of that nature. And it just, the way that Snape treats him as a child and teacher relationship is not healthy. And I think that's something that as a kid, sometimes you don't always recognize that an adult is not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think what this series can do is give kids a voice. Kids have feelings, they're strong, and they need that voice too. And maybe they can stand up for one another, because we do see Harry and Ron and Hermione standing up for him. Back to Katie. Sorry.
Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
They've done like studies on Potter where like Potter fans are just more open. So the fact that I can rely on these guys or rely on this book and this series to relieve my social anxiety and do something like this, or like, you know what I mean? It's insane. I don't know. It's just magic. It truly is just straight up magic.
Well, even to talk about our Facebook group, because we are like crazy strict about any negativity, because let's be honest, there's a lot of
the last thing
negative
we need
things
in
in
the
the
internet.
news and around the world, or just people's own personal lives. So we want to create the safest space where you can come and talk about something that you love. And like, there's people from all kinds of different backgrounds in our group. So that you might not have any of that in common, but you have a common interest in Harry Potter, so that's something that brings them all together. And literally, like, people are like, have said to us, like, I was in another Potter group and people were just so mean, and like, we will delete things.
I mean,
we like make sure
we're
that
like-
nothing negative, because that's not what we're about.
I just
And we
have no
also-
problem.
Nope.
I think I just made a post the other day, and it wasn't that like people were just teetering on the edge of maybe getting argumentative, not constructively. You can have debates all day long, but once you start like kind of like
Being
name calling and things, I said Mama Tiff says no, you're gone, and I have no qualms about doing it. And we even have another group.
Yeah, we have a secondary group associated with our group, because what's so amazing about like our community on Facebook is that the people have grown so close within the Swish and Flick podcast group that they wanted to talk about more than Potter together. And it was kind of this fine line of like, what do we allow in it? Because like, we don't want it to just become overrun with like personal posts, but we also understand that these people have become legitimate friends, and they want to tell each other about all of these, about good things that are happening, or they want advice on maybe bad things that are happening. So we created this secondary group called Swisher Support, which has been like the best group ever. And it's like, you can literally go in there and talk about absolutely anything, and without fail, there is someone in that group who's gone through it, has words of wisdom to give you, calms you down from your anxiety. I mean, anything.
It's not always people who maybe need a word of encouragement or anything. Sometimes people will just post something good that has happened in their lives. And who can't use a little more good news in our world today? You know what I mean? Especially on the internet.
It's a great way to, and I think the internet in this aspect can be great in the same way where, like, you're having anxiety about something, because I know Katie and I are the ones that are the anxious ones on the podcast. So it's nice to know that, like, there's things that I'm anxious about that other people are too. So it makes me feel less alone, that like, I'm like, oh, you do it too? I'm like, let's just go be anxious together. Like,
I mean, you think you're crazy when you first start feeling what you feel, what age you feel it, but then you meet other people and you're like, oh, I'm not alone.
And then people be like, just don't be anxious. Like, oh my gosh, I'm cured. Right. And like we joke about it now, and people are like, oh my gosh.
All right,
we
have
can
to move
probably
on.
have one more question.
One more question?
Yeah.
Okay. Make it good. I need your name and the question.
That's a lot of pressure.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I was wondering what you thought about Ariana being an obscurist.
Oh.
We like it a lot.
It's been a minute since I thought about that.
I'm 1,000% on board with that theory,
I
and I think
am
that
as well.
I think it's true.
We have more theories on that as well.
Too. We have theories about credence.
Yeah.
We have theories about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
a
we're
lot.
into it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that it just completely fits, and I think that one of my favorite things that we came up with when we started talking about like when Fantastic Beasts started is that the series is called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and we're super focused on Credence, right? So is Credence a human or is he the beast that we are talking about? And I kind of think that Credence
Why don't we
is
leave
the
it there?
Fantastic Beast. In my opinion, that's
mean,
what
they-
I think the series is going to come full circle
Yeah.
to. And it's going to completely talk about Ariana in that process. We're going to touch on Ariana being an
Yeah.
Obscurus and how it's related to Credence. They talk about like a dark twin.
I
Are
mean-
Credence and Ariana somehow connected?
I also wonder if we're
Is
going
We have a
Credence
minute left.
Ariana's
We have a minute
Obscurus?
left.
Are we going to find out who cast that curse that ended Ariana? You know
I
what
don't
I mean?
think so.
Grindelwald?
No
Is
one
it-
really
it'd be
knew,
Dumbledore.
right? Curses were
Is
flying
it
everywhere.
Dumbledore? Was it just Ariana herself? Did she just kind of like do that to herself, which is possible? What?
We gotta end it.
Yeah,
I
we
know,
gotta go.
but I love that. That was a.
Yes, it was a good
Yeah, that was
question.
great.
Thank you so much.
We are going
Yes,
to discuss
thank
it
you.
more.
I think you're right. Is what I'm saying.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for those questions.
Where can we
Yes.
find us?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank
Yes,
So,
thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we're Swish and Flick Podcast on Facebook. Just search us. We have a group as well, Swish and Flick Podcast group. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Swish Flick Cast, and also on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Swish and Flick Podcast. This entire podcast was live on YouTube, so like shout out to the people who couldn't be here. Thank you. Also, you can go to our website, which is just swishflickcast.com, and all of the information that I just told you is there as well with links to go straight to where we are at.
Okay. Is that all for the greater good?
Tis all.
Okay. That concludes this live episode from Kent. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.